This is Greg Navarro live with CGTN. We are here in Christchurch, in the center of Christchurch. Just over here is Hagley Park. I want to show you some of the tributes from the hundreds and hundreds of people who have come through over the last couple of hours. If you just pan over this way and have a look, a makeshift memorial has been set up across the park from where the shootings took place 48 hours ago here in Christchurch. You can see the dozens and dozens of flowers. There are heartfelt messages along the fence here, and people just taking the time to pause and reflect on what is happening. We'll see if we can get a little bit closer so you can have a look at some of the messages that are being put up here. All day long since early this morning, people have been coming by, people of all ages, families with very young children, as well as I said, pretty much every walk of life coming by here and taking the time to pause and I guess remember. A lot of this is in honor of those who lost their lives in this shooting, as well as their families. I think another big part of this for a lot of people is a way to deal with the grief of this all. This is something that happened just 48 hours ago here in Christchurch on a scale that most people could not imagine. 50 lives lost in the shootings that took place 2 days ago. And what has started out as a couple of flowers placed along a fence here has grown to something that stretches almost, well over a half a kilometer down on the side of this park. Directly across from where we are is one of the mosques where the shooting started. The majority of people lost their lives here on a Friday afternoon. People that are coming out here don't necessarily need a connection to this, or simply being a part of this community, but it's amazing the number of people we talk to, how many people actually do have a connection, either a friend of a friend or a neighbor or a relative in some way, but some sort of connection to knowing some of the 50 people who were killed in this incident here. 2 days after this happened, with one man in custody, 28-year-old Australian Brenton Tarrant, charged with 1 count of murder. The focus now is primarily on the lives lost, those families, getting the bodies back to those families, as well as changing gun laws. New Zealand's Prime Minister speaking over the last 24 hours, vowing to change the the laws regarding guns, greater control as to access in this country as a result of what's happened here. And weave our way through here. Again, you're watching CGTN live. We are here in Christchurch as we weave our way through the crowds of taking you through what had started out as a very small makeshift memorial. Over the last, say, day or so, it has grown. Hundreds, if not more than 1,000 people have come up and down this walkway here, more than half a kilometer. And the reason is a chance to put messages, lay flowers, and get a little bit of a connection to this, whether it's paying respects to families and friends of victims or simply part of the grieving process. But it has been phenomenal, the number of people. We'll head down a little bit further, unless lighting is okay for you. We'll head down a little bit further. As you can imagine, many of the people who are coming out here not willing to talk to us on camera right now. It's a very private moment for that, but off camera, some of the stories that people have told us have been quite incredible, realizing that they do in fact have a connection to one of the 50 victims in this. And you know, I think what that does is it really brings this thing home for a lot of people. Remember, this is a relatively small city, about 200 to 300,000 people. Things like this don't happen here. They clearly don't happen anywhere, but in particular, it has added to the impact, I think, the gravity for a lot of people here. We'll take you down a little bit further if we can, depending on the lighting. Show you some more of these tributes. It is incredible. I mean, we've already covered several hundred meters along this stretch, and even at this hour, as the sun is setting here in the afternoon, it is still packed. Don't know how well you're able to see it. We'll take advantage of some light here. Clearly, a lot of children at this that have come out here for this, and that's got to be one of the toughest things for many of the parents, bringing them, trying to explain to them what's happening, let alone explain to an adult. We'll head down a little bit further through the crowd here. As I said, with the investigation not completely wrapped up, because authorities are out in force here in Christchurch, and we'll give you a little bit more light if we head down this way. The mosque, one of where most of the people lost their lives, that is still a big police presence in that area, and the area is restricted to the public as well. But because there is the person believed to be the shooter, as I said, the 28-year-old Brenton Tarrant, in custody, already facing one count of murder, that the focus in this is on those people. Still 36 people, at least 36 people in the hospital, some critically injured, as well as what to do getting those bodies back from the 50 victims killed in this back to their families, many of them of the Islamic faith. And under those guidelines for particular religions, they need to be 24 hours in having a burial. They haven't been able to do that because of this, because of the scale of this and the overwhelming impact on this city. The Prime Minister here saying that by tonight, Sunday night here, they would in fact start to get some of the bodies back to the families. The focus too on the background of the man accused of doing all of this, and linking him all the way back to Australia where he grew up, the alleged gunman in this. Also the focus, as I mentioned, is on moving forward and gun laws. This is something that does not happen here, doesn't happen in most places, but in particular New Zealand. And the gun laws are a big focus, a vow from not only the Prime Minister, but also the Chief of Police here, very supportive of that notion, and Parliament is expected to get that ball rolling as we head into next week. We'll take you just a little bit more if you want to have a quick look here, as you can. It's the actual written messages. One of them reading, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can. We will not stop loving, and this is New Zealand." That is the type of message that has been repeated here countless times. Cards, letters, you name it, all with the same purpose here. Not only paying tribute to those lives lost, but also sending a message. All right, well, once again, Greg Navarro at CGTN Live. We are here in Christchurch, as I mentioned, on the edge of Nagley Park, just across one of the mosques where the majority of lives were lost here on a Friday afternoon here in Christchurch. A makeshift memorial has been erected on this side of the park, and it extends for well over half a kilometer. And hundreds of people have come out over the last several hours paying tributes, paying their respects, and of course grieving, which is a process that will go on here for some time. You're watching CGTN Live. I'm Greg Navarro.